So after a very insightful session, now we are having our next session on e-commerce considering technological dimensions. Again, I request Dr. Nitin Pathak sir, head of the Department Commerce, to formally invite Hitesh sir for the session.
Thank you, Dr. Nilini. On behalf of Commerce Department, Chandigarh University, I welcome you, Mr. Hitesh, who is CEO of Tech4serve Food Business. To introduce Mr. Hitesh, he is a management consultant and strategy consultant also. He is a business mentor, business coach, turnkey consulting model, and he is a motivational speaker too. So he has built a commendable reputation in the food industry through its excellent track record. He is a pioneer in the industry with the approach of honesty and transparency. He is he's having abilities in enhancing production process, operations, and optimizing resources by capacity utilization. So, and he's an effective communicator. And looking at his commitment, he is committed towards the CSR activities by his industries, by his business, whatever he is holding right now. He is also a transformation expert. He talks about food business. He talks about beverages. He talks about brand creation. So I welcome you, Mr. Hitesh, for today's session. Over to you, Mr. Hitesh, for the discussion with the students and the other participants. Thanks a lot for your valuable time.
Thank you, Dr. Nitin. Thank you, Dr. Nilini, for such a nice introduction. Probably your research was a bit detailed. I was not expecting this much about me from you. So in short, I'm the founder and CEO of Tech4serve Food Business Consultants. We are a turnkey F&B consulting company, and we are an innovation-driven company which can convert the dream of entrepreneurs who are looking to get into food industry to become a reality. Tech4serve has been in existence since a little over 9 years now, and we have executed 100+ projects. Currently, I'm in my office, and the wall behind me we call as the Wall of Fame, and we have the logos of the brands which we have worked with. It's just a few because we could not capture the entire portfolio in just one wall. So thank you everyone for inviting me, and in this current session I'll be discussing the technologies in e-commerce. That is one part. Second is I'll be sharing my journey, my journey into entrepreneurship, and we will also do a small case study. So it will be a little bit of interactive session, and I would really appreciate some participation from the audiences. So let's begin with the presentation first. The next slide, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what is e-commerce? I mean, traditionally, we never expected that we could be able to trade or buy something without exchange of the real currency. Now, over the last 20 years or so, we have seen, digital transactions, and now the trading of goods and services has started so much, and COVID has seen actually a lot of growth in that segment. So this is a way of trading goods and services digitally. Now, why e-commerce? Why was the need for this? So first is the better outreach, because you can sell a product or a service sitting in one part of the world to the other part of the world without actually traveling. Second is less infrastructural investment. You don't have to build stores or outlets or places where you sell goods. You can sell them online, and when you sell them online, your infrastructural cost is much lower compared to a physical outlet or a physical shop. It is scalable. You can scale up to different domains, to different geographies. It is technologically driven because it's not the traditional way of transaction. You are using a technology to sell a product. The interaction happens electronically, the fund transfer happens electronically, the data generation happens, and then the shipment and everything, all the process of the transaction happens through technology. Ease of buying for the customer. This is the another advantage, because you don't have to physically move from shop to shop. You can just switch your toggle your screen and reach to different places where you can buy a product or a service. And also, you're not bound with a timeline. You can shop at 12 in the midnight when you don't expect the physical shops to be open. You can actually do your shopping when you're free, whenever you are comfortable at. And COVID has brought a technological learning for the next 10 years and the last 2 years. I mean, I think this was discussed in the previous session as well, that because of COVID, there has been a lot of upgradation, there had been a lot of education, and there had been a lot of adoption towards technology. For example, very well mentioned, the example of Zoom. I mean, we had been personally thinking to digitize our office since last 3-4 years. The lockdown happened, and the first 1 week, we were digitally operational. So this is what COVID has brought to us. I mean, it has actually enforced to use the technology. People were reluctant to do that, but now they have adopted it, and it is now the new normal. People are quite comfortable using technology in their day-to-day lives. Next slide, please. Yes. So why technology in e-commerce? I mean, this is what I have discussed also, but I'll just brief it further. So there is a constant improvement for competitive edge. I mean, if we see that when few years back, I would say around 10-12 years back, there was an app called Paytm which was launched, and people were very reluctant. How will it happen? Will I steal my money? Will my money be safe? Will my bank account be safe? But now there are so many payment gateways, and even the user interface is so improved that you can have automatic wallet recharge. You can have a fixed amount of wallet amount fixed in your wallet, and whenever the amount crosses that threshold, there is an auto pay, auto recharge, and all those things. So this is how the improvement has happened, and that is how it brings the competitiveness into the industry. Lower cost and better offering through the technology. As I said, that the cost of selling or trading or transactional activities through e-commerce are much more economical, because it gives you a bigger geography to play with. You're not restricted to a specific region or a specific domain. Efficient supply chain. There are less, I would say, errors in terms of operation. Better shopping experiences. You can compare goods on a screen compared to whatever you're looking at. Otherwise, in a physical world, you are bound to select from the options available physically. But now you can actually procure things which are available in your local vicinity, in India, international market, whatever. So the shopping experience is much more enhanced, and there is a lot of technology which has also been implemented, like artificial intelligence, chatbots. Your user interfaces have enhanced. So the overall experience is more convenient. Understanding the consumer better and offering customizations. Now, this is what has revived, or I would say escalated the world in the e-commerce, where you are actually reading his preferences, you are understanding his choices, and then you are giving him customized solutions. So whatever is customized as per your requirement becomes a luxury. And when you offer something as a luxury, or when you offer something as a better user interface, then your relationship with the consumer is much more stronger. There is a lot of loyalty involved once the experience becomes something which is customized and which is relatable. Then 24/7 service support. As I said, you are not bound to go to a shop and buy before the shop closes, because the shops are open 24/7. You can interact, you can raise a complaint, you can raise a query, you can buy a product, you can make a order, a return, or whatever, whenever you are comfortable, whatever is a convenient time for you. Next slide, please.
Yes, sir.
So what technology trends are shaping the e-commerce market? Now we have, I'll discuss all these in the next slides, but I'm just summarizing them in this slide. So there is mobile e-commerce and omni-channel presence. We will discuss this. Augmented and virtual reality, video marketing, image search capabilities, subscriptions and auto fulfillment, quick and easy checkout process, and gamification, making online shopping fun. So these are the focus on ease of the customer. Next slide, please.
Yes.
And the technology trends which are shaping e-commerce market are Internet of Things, IoT, which we say, and voice assistance, engaging user interface, structure and use of planograms, customized offering to the customer, and implementation of chatbots and conventional marketings. Both these slides, they are just a summary, and I will discuss each of these points one by one in the next slides. Focus on ease for the consumer or the customer. Now, what is the focus? The customer is sitting at his office or at his workplace or at his home, or he is traveling, and he is at a comfort zone. I mean, he is not in the hassle of going and buying something in a specific timeline. He can select a product, he can choose, he can read the reviews of the consumers, he can go for the competitive product, competitive brands, he can have analysis online on the products on which he is consumed. For example, usually people compare their product with the different brands, maybe a mobile phone or maybe a car which you are planning to buy. Then there are apps and there are websites which help you compare your choice amongst the available choices, and then you can reach to a better result. You are not driven by a specific salesperson, and you are not brainwashed for a particular product which is being sold at a physical store. Next slide, please.
Yes.
Mobile e-commerce and omni-channel presence. So now when you see there is a uniform growth of a brand through different channels, and then there is a higher brand recall value. So there are online marketplaces where you see the product. There are brick and mortar stores where also you see the product. For example, if we say that you select a product online on a e-portal, maybe Amazon or Flipkart, and then when you see the same product in a big bazaar or in a shopping mall, there is a recall value for the product. You are able to recollect that, okay, I saw this product online and now I see it physically. So there is a trust which has built up over the product. Then there is a word of mouth, which happens through reviews on the online portal, through reviews on different blogs, and also a word of mouth through your social network. Then there is social networks which sell the product. There are Instagram, Facebook, they all have a selling platform, and you must be noticing that if you browse a particular product a couple of times on the Google search engine, you will start seeing advertisements related to that product on your Insta or on your Facebook. So this is how the companies use the data which you are, I mean, it's a big data analysis. They use this and then they give it as an option on your social media platform. And then there are e-commerce sites which are selling the product. So everything, the entire business, apart from the brick and mortar stores, everything happens on your mobile screen. So now the entire task of a brand or a company is to reach to the hands or the mobile screen of a consumer. And there you are able to make sales, make interactions, and make a relationship. Next slide, please.
Yes.
Augmented and virtual reality, making online shopping more interactive. Now in the screen which you see, this is a company which is selling spectacles. And with this virtual reality, the face has been captured, and you can actually visualize which frame suits your face best. So this way, the experience of a physical shopping has been replicated through augmented and virtual reality.
So should I move to next slide?
Yes, please. Next slide, please. Video content capturing consumer attention. Now there is video marketing, and we see a lot of content happening over the various social media and even the other platforms as well. Now, video is the best way of engaging with a customer, because you're able to demonstrate a product, you're able to highlight the qualities of the product, and you're able to engage with the consumer as per their specific demand. So there are users, the users actually are able to go through your advertisement, or because video is something which you would like to interact with, or which you like to view once. It is target driven, because it is through the big data analysis on the type of search or your preferences. The content is curated. It is drafted in a way that it is it is catchy and it is inviting. And then you're able to process a sale. I mean, the success ratio of a particular product which you try to sell from a normal graphic image, or compared to a product which is being sold through a video content, is much higher. So that ways you're able to engage with the consumer and build a trust, and then make a sales. Next slide, please. Image search capabilities. Now, this is a very unique app or a technology which is now being used. You're roaming in the market, you like a particular product, you take a picture, and then you search, and then you can reach to the final product or the company which is selling the product. For example, Myntra. You like a particular shoe, you have taken a picture, and you search, and you reach to the product. So this way, lot of times during the physical shopping experiences, we were not able to reach to the product. We did not know what brand it is, or what company it is being manufactured by, or what price tag it is. So that ways, a lot of times we liked the product, but we could not buy the product because we did not know how to buy it. But with this technology, we are able to reach to the product, to the direct manufacturer, and then reach to various e-portals where it can be bought from. Quick and easy checkout process. Now, this, I think most of us would be experiencing that now with the e-commerce, the buying and the checkout process is much more convenient and much more simpler. You can keep on adding the product in your shopping cart or in your basket, and then when you just finish up shopping, you can just overview what is the total order. Have you ordered the number of items? What are the prices? What are the discounts offered? You make a payment through online transaction, through credit card, through debit cards, and then you are through. So in comparison to a physical shopping, I mean, this is why this is easy, because you can have a multiple basket. You can have grocery, you can have fresh fruits, you can have your electronics, you can have your stationery, all clubbed in a single basket and all done through a single checkout process. So that ways your interaction with various shopkeepers, with various shop owners is restricted to just one checkout. Subscriptions and auto fulfillment. Now, this is a fantastic model of e-commerce. where you have identified a customer, you have identified his weekly or monthly requirements, and you have made him subscribe to you. For example, if a consumer requires a liter of milk every day, 2 packs of breads every week, and maybe say 12 eggs every week. Now you have a subscription model where the customer is not in a pressure to order you on time. He has subscribed a particular requirement and you fulfill the requirement. First is you have a repetitive sale when you go with a subscription model because the customer is now only associated with you. Second is you have knocked off all the competitors, because once he has subscribed to a particular brand or a particular product, he will not be comfortable in switching to a similar product of a different brand until and unless he withdraws the subscription. So you are making him hassle-free in terms of keeping the record of what is to be ordered, what is not to be ordered, or what is there in the requirement. Second is you are knocking off the competitor. You are making a experience which is much more convenient, which does not require a regular tracking. And then you have a loyalty. So this is what is being used as a very important tool in the e-commerce, mostly in the regular consumable items. Gamification and making online shopping a fun. Now, this I think we have observed in a lot of places where there is a spin to win opportunity, or there is a VIP program, or there is a game where you play and then you reach to a particular landing page and then you go for an interaction or a shopping. Now, this way you are able to engage with the client through a different medium. You are not directly selling, you are actually making an impulse buying, because you are asking him to play a game, and there might be an opportunity that he wins the product for free. But believe you me that there is nothing for free in the current world. So it is just a way of drawing the attention or drawing the crowd towards your product. Use of big data and AI to drive revenues. This I think I shared also, but let me explain a little bit more. Big data is basically what researches you are making online, or what kind of a product you are tracing, or what kind of an interface you are drawing from your various portals. Maybe it's social media, maybe your Google, maybe your LinkedIn, or different platforms. So the data is being captured. That is one. Second is there is a lot of voice assistance. So there is Alexa, there is Siri, there is Google Home, and you interact with them, looking for products, looking for new updates, looking for new technology. And this specific data is being captured and is being analyzed as per your preferences and choices. So if you are wishing to buy say for example a Mercedes, and you have browsed for a Mercedes a couple of times, then your social media, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, and even your lot of times you get messages from the companies who are trying to sell a Mercedes. So what happens is that you had a thought, you were not sure whether you're going to make a purchase or not, but then the repetitive knocking makes you make the purchase. There would be repetitive knocking in terms of offers, in terms of new models, in terms of new features, in terms of new colors, new variants, or sometimes it is the celebrity endorsement where you are driven towards a particular product. So this is how the data has been analyzed and has been used in a way to capture the market or to make sales. Internet of Things and voice assistants. Now, this is, as I said, the homes are becoming smarter, and we are more and more getting connected to various voice assistant devices, and a lot of things are now connected through the voice assistants to your data. Now, for example, there is a water filter and it is connected with your Alexa or with your Google Home, and it will automatically detect when the filter has to be changed or when the device has to be serviced. With that, it will raise an alarm, and there will be a transaction, because there will be an alarm which will say that the filter needs to be changed, and then it will lead to a transaction where you will order for a filter. So this way, whatever, there is also a philosophy that it is a breach to privacy, that whatever we are discussing, whatever we are talking has been captured and has been used to make transactions with us. But then we are the one who have selected to to allow a breach in our privacy, and we are the one who have selected to install Alexa and go for smart homes and more advanced technologies. So this is how e-commerce is trying to make more transactions through the interface which they have with us. Engaging UI structure and use of planograms. Now, this is it's a typical way of demonstrating a shop or a product. There are two types of shops: the brick and mortar, the physical stores, and even the online stores. Now, what you see on the screen a lot of times drives you towards impulse buying. We are in the grocery store trying to look for a basic need, but then we toggle to a product which is a premium product, but then it catches our attention because the way the screen or the planogram has been arranged is that it will attract our attention to. Otherwise, we would be restricted only to the specific search. And I think a lot of times we experience this, that we open an app for online shopping for just one product, but then we end up buying 10 products because we have been kind of motivated towards buying a product because the way it has been showcased or the way it has been displayed was attractive enough to go for a purchase. Next slide, please. Customized offering to the customer. Now, this is, I think we would have observed that there are buying trends and you would have ordered certain things more frequently from various online portals. And next time when you shop for it, it asks for you that, would you want to repeat your order? So this is a customization. The app, the interface knows that there is a particular product which you are buying frequently. And at the point of time when you're trying to make a sale, you're actually not looking to buy the product, but because the user interface interacts with you and asks you whether you want to repeat the order, you click, it clicks on your mind that, yes, this is something which is probably running out of stock or which I have to order in a couple of days. Let's order it now. So this is a customization. It makes suggestions that this is the product which you had been buying. You have not bought for the last this much period of time, maybe a week or maybe a 10-day, and then you intend to go for a transaction. So this is another way of engaging with the customer, because all this e-commerce activities, they require engagement with the customer. In a physical store, there is a salesman or there is a shopkeeper or there is a shop owner who's interacting with you and giving you an interface. But when it comes to technology, there are no shopkeepers, there are no salesperson. So it is all these kind of interfaces or the customization or the suggestive impulse buying technology is the one which is driving the sales. Next slide, please. Implementation of chatbots and conversational marketing. Now, this is something which has been used by a lot of companies now, where you are working on a customized product and you might have queries regarding the product. So there is a chatbot which is responding to your queries, which has been programmed to answer the general FAQs which come in mind of a consumer. And then there is conversational marketing, which is on top of that. So there might be a set of 100 or 150 questions which are being registered, recorded, and trained to answer or implemented through a chatbot. There might be a couple of questions which are not recorded. So that comes through a conversational marketing, where there is a specific caller or a specific interface who interacts with you to solve that query. But otherwise, most of the queries get solved by the chatbot. So this way, you are able to interact with your customer, not putting in a lot of resources or a lot of manpower behind it, and a technology is answering the query. So there could be 100 consumers interacting at a particular point of time without involving 100 physical staffs. This is a bonus, loss leader pricing principle. I think both these logos are quite well recognized. Now, there are two types of platforms. One is Netflix and one is Prime Video. Netflix, both of them actually are selling video content. Both of them are online platforms for video. Now, the prime business of Netflix is revenue through selling of the content. But in terms of Prime Video, they are not bothered about making sales from the video. What they do is that they upgrade you to a Prime membership. And then when you upgrade to a Prime membership, for example, as you upgraded to a Prime membership with Amazon, you are forced to take a lot of services from Amazon and discard other platforms like Flipkart or Snapdeal, because you have taken a Prime membership. You get free delivery, you get offers on your product. So it's not the video content which makes a revenue sense for the company, but it is a subscription for the video content which drives the revenue to other products and services through other portals. So there is, I mean, the companies are same, the content is same, but the revenue generation model is different. Netflix is making money only through subscription, but Prime Video is making money through sales of goods and services on Amazon. I think if we want to have a Q&A on the e-commerce part, we can have it, or you want me to continue with, and then we have a final Q&A at the end of the seminar.
So we can have, like, you can continue, we can have it in the end of the session.
Okay. So as I was requested to share my entrepreneurial journey, I started off, I'm basically a food technologist, and I started off my career in 2005 as a sales executive with Biocon. Biocon had a food division which was making products for the food industry. And it was a small stint from May 2005 to December 2005, where I was handling key accounts like Haldiram's, Cremica, Priya Gold, Anmol, Perfect, and all. But during this stint of time, I realized that sales is something which I can do. I probably am successful in doing it, but this is not what makes me happy. So after this, I realized that my core competence is projects. And that's why I shifted I joined ITC. I joined the operations and the projects team, where I was handling the plant operations and the expansion of various plants, and then installation of new plant. So this was in January 2006 up to June 2007. And then I got a wonderful opportunity, probably an opportunity of my life, where I joined Olam International Singapore. Olam is one of the top 10 companies registered in the Singapore Stock Exchange, and they have operations in 64 countries. I got an opportunity to work for them in Tanzania, where I was handling the largest cashew processing factory in the world. with 9,500 workers and $25 million USD turnover. So this was an experience where I was thrown into the water and asked to swim, to learn swim and then make others swim as well. And this experience brought basically the entrepreneur in me, because I was handling the entire operations on my own. And this is how I realized that, you know, there is an entrepreneur which can probably do better for my own. And that's how I decided to move back to India in January 2011. And I co-founded a company with the Skylark Group. So there was a Skylark Foods and Beverages, which was in Gurgaon. And then I was also appointed as director for Skylark School of Business and Technology. This was my first entrepreneurship step. We made good growth in a span of 1.5 years, but then we made some mistakes in terms of tracking the responsibilities, in terms of fund management, and in terms of deciding the roles of the individual partners. So I decided to hand over the business to my other partner and move out of the business. And that's when I founded a trading firm, which was basically a distribution company based for specialized food ingredients. This was formed in basically end of 2012, September, October 2012, which is now a part of my current portfolio called the Mangalmurthy Enterprises. I also founded Tech4serve Food Business Consultants at that point of time, which is a consulting company and which is now the main company in the group companies. And in 2018, I co-founded a design house called High Pitch Designs, which is a design house which deals in branding, marketing, advertising, social media, your graphic, packaging designing, your video content, audio content, your basically a communication which goes from your company to outside. So this has been the entrepreneurship ladder. Currently, we are sitting at 100+ projects, pan-India, and we have 4 offices: Delhi, Mumbai, Lucknow, and Kolkata. And I would say the journey had been quite enriching, quite eventful. Difficulties at point of time, usually in the initial stages of the business. And now it is pretty much stable, and we are growing at a very rapid pace. So I would like to share certain things basically for mostly the budding entrepreneurs, as in what they should be looking at when they're looking at entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship is something which everybody is attracted to, but the success rates and the success ratios are very, very thin. A data says 7% of the entrepreneurs only survive 3 years of journey. So when you plunge into entrepreneurship, I would say there are 4 qualities which you should have in place before you take a deep dive into the entrepreneur journey. One is a strong will. You should be very, very strong will. You should not be looking at, if it fails, I'll go back to job. If it fails, I'll do this, I'll do that. So you have to be strong-willed. You have to give up on luxury. A lot of times we take a plunge, but we don't give up on luxury. There should be a vision. You should have a vision that how you will proceed in your career. What is plan A? What is plan B? What is plan C? And then what is the succession? And 4th is your guts to fail at least 99 times. So if you're having the guts to fail for 99 times, I'm sure the 100th time will be a success. So these are the 4 things which an entrepreneur should have in mind before taking a journey. Then there has to be a plan, whereas you have to find a problem. As in the previous session also we discussed that any entrepreneur is the best entrepreneur actually is the one who solves a problem of the people, of the consumer, of the masses. So you have to find a problem, identify a problem, then identify your customer and identify your product or the service. So this is the first step. Then you have to find whether there is a demand for the product or the services which you have identified to manufacture or to sell or to produce. Then there has to be a feasibility of the product. It should not be a very hypothetical product. For example, if I start selling a flat on moon, will it sell? It will not. So there has to be a feasibility. I'm sure that there is a very high demand of real estate, but then a flat on moon doesn't sell. Then you have to plan your funds and resources, because a lot of times we go overboard. We try to expand beyond our limits, and then that is how we get short of funds, and we get suffocated with the fund flow, and then we fall off. So the funds and resources have to be planned well, and usually for small enterprises, for small entrepreneurs, try to keep your overheads as low as possible and fly light. So this is the planning phase when you're planning to get as an entrepreneur. And then when you execute, when you have developed a product, try to get a feedback, test market your product, reach to a certain level of understanding with the consumer, and also a trust which you develop. So your product should be sellable. Launch the product, post that, and then you should have persistence to wait for the sales to come. It will not happen overnight. Sales take their own time to come. And now I'm doing a small case study on how to interact with your consumer. So I'll take the example of Tech4serve. Now, first is how you interact is first you have to educate your consumer. So in terms of education, what Tech4serve does is that there are 3 industries which have seen constant growth even during the pandemic. One is the foods and beverages, second is the pharmacy, and third is personal care. Tech4serve is an innovation-driven F&B consulting company. We convert your dream of being into food industry into reality. So now with this thought, I have educated my consumer that food is a lucrative business. Food is an industry which has a lot of future. And if you're looking for something to do in the food industry, you can reach out to us. This is the education part. I am not selling anything. I'm just educating. Then there is an engagement where let's conduct a poll. Have you ever heard of a business concept like Turnkey F&B Consulting? Now, I would like to interact with you. Can you please type out yes or no? Have you ever heard about something called food business or not?
Can we have answers in the chat box, please? You can give your answers in the chat box.
So people who have ever heard about something called consulting in food businesses can write Y, and people who have not heard can write N.
So can we have responses in the chat box? Sir, they have heard about it.
Okay. Now, this is the engagement where I have tried to engage with the audience, with the consumer. Again, I have not sold anything. It's just an engagement. Then there is a trust building. Did you know that 70% of the food businesses fail in the first 6 months, and another 23% in the next 18 months? So this is the success rate of the food industry. So if we add on the numbers, it becomes 7% businesses only survive first 2 years. And Tech4serve has been flawless in the track record with 100% success rate. So this is a statement with which I have tried to build a trust with my consumer, that when you work with a consulting company like Tech4serve, your chances of failure become very, 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 very small. We don't guarantee 100% success, but so far we had been 100% successful. Now I would like to have an association with you where I would request you to go to our LinkedIn page, browse Tech4serve Project Consultants, and like us on LinkedIn, so that you can be updated with any information, any news, or any latest update from our side in the foods and beverages domain. So this is an association. Again, I am not trying to sell anything still. Now I'm trying to sell, where I'll say drop a direct message on my personal account if you're looking to help in the food business. So this is a direct sale, and I'm asking you to drop me a message on my LinkedIn. You can browse Hitesh Tripathi on LinkedIn, and you will find me, Hitesh Tripathi Tech4serve. You'll find me. And then what will be a fake sale? A fake sale is usually a lot of times we fall into, and I say give us a 5-star rating and get a free business consultation. So free, there, as I said in the presentation as well, that there is nothing like free. I'm trying to sell something free for the sake of making a sale, but then this would be probably a fake sale. So this is a way of interacting with your consumer. I took my example because probably I was the best at it, but then it would hold good for any product or any service. So whenever you try to engage with your customer, when you try to reach to the display screen of the consumer, if you follow these steps, you'll be able to engage with them in a better way. Now, can I ask how many of the participants, although I know there are a lot of participants on different other portals as well, how many of them are still in their education and how many of them are from the industry? So can we write E for education and I for industry? Neelni, you're muted. I am not able to hear you.
Sorry, sir. You can write E for the education and I for the industry. Sir, we have both the responses.
Mm-hmm.
We are getting E more in number.
More in number.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So as expected, because it's a program from the University of Chandigarh, I believe there are a lot of students in the program. Now, I would like to share basically a gap which I have observed during my last 16 years of my entrepreneurship journey. Basically, what is happening is that there is a gap between the academia and the industry. What people are studying in the college and what the students or the freshers are experiencing in the real life industry, there is a huge gap between that. And although there are companies, there are people who are trying to bridge that gap, but I think still there is a lot of scope. Now, what happens? I'm just trying to relive the life of an engineering student. So first year usually is very happening, very mesmerizing. You're very happy. You get freedom to do whatever you want. You are suddenly taken as a grown-up or a matured person because you have gone into a professional program, and the entire first year passes with this happiness only. Now comes the where there are troubles of having a back or a supplementary examination. Assignments, your attendance is falling short. You're not able to cope up with the core subjects. And then the entire second year is gone. Although I would say the entire 4 years, two things which are very, very common is your CAGP or your placement. So the getting into the real life, we are roaming around. What is my percentage? Where will I get placed? What company will I work for? But we are not working towards, our own development. Third year comes, and then we are looking at internship. Where will I get my internship? Where will I do my project? What will be my project? Who will be my project partners? And sometimes it is GATE, sometimes it is CAT. So we are focusing on these things. Still not looking at what is happening in the real life. And then the fourth year is all about placement, 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 placement. Now, what has happened is that during the 4 year, we have missed out on identifying what is our core. As I said, in the first job itself, I realized that sales is not my core. Sales is not my forte. I can do it. I am doing it well, but this is not something which I really enjoy. So I would say that the first role of a student should be to identify his core. And when I mention core, what is core? There are different wings in education. Say you have your quality, you have research and development, you have operations, you have projects, you have sales and marketing, you have PR. So all these verticals are there. And a student who's probably good at sales, if he gets into QC, he will get confused. He will not be able to grow in his career. What will happen is he'll spend 1 or 2 years in the QC trying to learn, trying to cope up with the environment. And then he will realize this is something which is not my cup of tea. And then he would try to get into sales and marketing. Now, when you go into sales and marketing after 2 years of experience in QC, the moment you go for an interview, the interviewer will say, oh, you have experience in QC. Why do you want to apply for a sales and marketing job? You have zero experience. So I'll take you as a fresher. Now, this student is experienced for 2 years. He has worked in the industry, but in a different core. And now he joins as a fresher in sales and marketing, if he is lucky. Otherwise, he will get a QC job again, maybe with a little bit of a hike. But it will lead to a further suffocation in the kind of role which is being performed. So I would say that very important for the students is to find out what is the core, because then only you can apply for a specific industry. It's better to apply, because then you'll be able to perform better in your career. Now, the second is that education is mostly about theory, and industry is mostly on practical. So what expectation a fresher should have is that after my 4 years of a degree program, I should be willing to spend 1 more year to learn. I mean, you might get paid for your learning, you might get a stipend, you might get a salary, you might get a very flashy salary, but then you should consider this first year at least, if not 2, I would advise for 2, but if not 2, the first year as a continuation of your learning. You consider yourself as a part of the university again in the first year, so that you are able to understand how the industry works and how to apply your theoretical knowledge into a practical life. Because then only you'll be able to drive more synergies, you'll be able to drive more efficiency, and that's how you'll be able to give back more to the organization you're working for, your personal growth and development. And that's how you will grow exponentially. Otherwise, we are just stuck in a routine cycle where we are in a 10 to 5 or a 9 to 6 rotation, and we are performing a limited sets of responsibilities which have been poured on us. We are not able to innovate, we are not able to drive, we are not able to lead. And there are a lot of questions which come into life out of syllabus. I mean, we complain in the examination if it falls out of syllabus, but then COVID was an excellent example. This was a question which was completely out of syllabus, and we all took our times to learn and to find out ways to solve this problem. So the reason why I drew attention towards these things is that I'm coming up with one more startup which is focused on bridging this gap between the academia and the industry. And although I'll be focused completely on the food domain and the food industry, so my target would be people from the food industry, biotechnology, and allied fields, agriculture, chemical technology. But then you can be connected with me on various social media platforms to get an update of this startup, which we are going to launch very, very soon. Thank you, Dr. Nilini. I think I am through. Hope,
yes, sir.
Hope it was Hope it was nice.
The session was great, sir. So can we take question now?
Please.
Yes, sir. So we have one question from Divya Gupta. Predatory pricing and deep discounting used by e-commerce players are hurting the Kirana stores. What can be the measure we can adopt to save Kirana store shopkeepers from this anti-competitive and discriminatory method?
It's a good question, but I think this will be answered by something which is coming up with Jio. Jio Marketplace is connecting all the Kirana stores from the platform, and then these Kirana stores will be like a extension of the e-commerce. This is what has been identified, because India is a different market, and all this e-commerce in India is very new. People are still trying to learn the experience of online shopping, and we are a country of a lot of Kirana stores. So this probably would be solved once a aggregator comes who takes care of these mom and pop stores as well, because usually in the Western world it's just supermarkets and a very few Kirana stores. So I think the future is for them as well, but it will not be as lucrative as the online, because the buying capacity of the online portals are very huge. The kind of revenue they generate, or the kind of volume they capture is very high. And when your buying is cheap, then you can when your buying is very high, then you can actually do a cheap buying compared to a Kirana store.
Thank you, sir. Sir, we have next question. Do you find any difference in the acceptability and affordability model of technology acceptance in India as compared to other countries you visited related to your business, particularly in case of B2C transactions?
Yes, of course. In India, we are technologically a little bit more challenged in terms of the rural and the semi-urban market. In terms of the A cities, people are actually at par, or I would say even better. But the adoption of technology is because we are a country of villages, and we are a country of small cities as well. So there, the acceptance is a little bit slow compared to the urban areas.
The next question we have, as a successful entrepreneur from Anil Chandokitis, which quality do you think has pushed you to reach at this level?
I would say there are two things which I have followed as a core. One is ethics, and second is relationships. So an entrepreneur grows if and only if he's able to maintain transparent relationships successfully. Because then you have a lot of trust of the people whom you have associated with. And second is ethics. There is no shortcut in business. So you might be looking at a very rapid growth for a short period of time, but then if you're not ethical, you have a timeline.
Next question we have from Priya, is from Muscat, Oman. When it comes to the implementation of chatbots into a sale and marketing strategy, do you think mixture of two is a mistake, or it can provide an edge?
It depends on the type of the product which is being sold, because there are products which are complicated to sell on a chatbot. So it will depend completely on the type of the product which is being, or the type of the transaction which is being made to adopt the technology. Every technology will not be suitable for selling everything. So we have to identify what technology suits our product and our user the best.
Thank you, sir. Next question we have from Nikita. Food industries have came a long way over these years. What next do you personally expect in terms of innovations and technology fusion?
I think again, connected to COVID, there has been a very steep rise in the demand of products which are nutritionally stronger or better, which are more immunity driven, because people are now educated towards healthy consumption. So there would be a shift towards better eating and better packaged food. that is already being observed, and I think still in the nascent stage, because we are a huge country and we are at the focus of the entire world. So that would be one. Second is an upcoming concept is the vegan concept. So the Western world has already seen a rise in it, and India should also see the rise in the coming, I would say, next decade.
Thank you, sir. Next question is from Anil again. What are the strategies of your company to tap business in the rural area? So you are tapping that area also. So he wants to know the basic strategies that you are following.
Well, for us, we don't have any strategy in terms of tapping the business, because I would say, God's grace, we are blessed with the kind of queries we receive. We are very selective in terms of choosing the business, because we want to be in the 7% only. So that's the reason why we refuse 80% of the businesses which come to our desk for discussion as a business idea, because we would want to be driving something which is feasible. We don't want to sell flat on moon.
So we have next query from Arvinder Kaur. Which type of credit assessment techniques are used by e-commerce for evaluating your customers regarding repayment and rate of acceptance of product?
I think this credit assistance is more towards the user reviews, because otherwise she's talking about the consumer B2C or B2B?
Sir, she's like e-commerce for evaluating your customers regarding repayment and rate of acceptance of product.
So rate of acceptance of product is directly driven through the sales which you make, because when it is e-commerce, then all the data is actually on screen, it is captured. So and the repayment, because in customer in B2C there is no credit. I mean, it's just prepayment and then your transaction happens. So repayment usually doesn't fall into this criteria, if I'm not guessing or taking the question right. Otherwise, you have your EMIs which are there, but then that is connected to the bank. So again, the bank is liable for the installments which are to be borne, and the bank takes it from the user in return. So e-commerce is the safest way in terms of money.
So we are getting a lot of questions. Actually, the session is streaming all over. So we have next. Can we take more questions?
We can take a couple of questions more, please.
Okay. Tech4serve was established in 2011 as a premier innovation-driven establishment in creating and launching promising food and beverages experiences. What's your next goal as an entrepreneur?
As I said, as I just shared that we would continue to grow in the F&B consulting domain, and I would like to give back to the society through my CSR initiative, where we are trying to build a platform or a 360-degree interface where we are educating the next generation and bringing them to the mainstream in a better way. Because I believe that it is the ecosystem in which you work is what makes your life happy or not happy. So if I am able to make the ecosystem at par, grown up, technologically, advanced, then our life also will be easier. So it's like this is the next mode we're looking at.
So participants, we are taking last two questions for the session now. So we have question from Akash. What are the securities challenges and the protection measure available to any electronic business, or identify the security requirements for the safe electronic payment?
I think security breach in terms of e-business do happen, and there are cyber cells for that, and there are but for I would say for smaller enterprises or the smaller businesses to start off initially, instead of building your own platform, it is better to first associate with the aggregators or the collaborators. And once you are able to have enough revenues and enough bottom line, then you go to your own portal. Because having your own portal is not just about the investment into an app, investment into a website, and investment into getting all the things digitized, but it is also about how you are able to reach to the interface, or how you're able to reach to the user. I would not download any shopping app just like that. I would prefer to buy my product from the available apps only, because our phones are flooded with apps already. So it's better to use an aggregator who has a better reach. And then once you have your own dedicated audience, then you can gradually switch them to your own app.
Sir, now the last question. What is the role of technology in the life of an entrepreneur?
Technology, I think, not only entrepreneur, technology plays an important role in everyone's life. As I said, pre-COVID, for the last couple of years, we were thinking to digitize, we were thinking to adopt more of online meetings and online ways of working, so that our traveling reduces, because me and my team, we are traveling extensively. Pre-COVID, we were traveling almost like 20 days in a month to different cities for different businesses. But as COVID came, it took us a week to adopt the technology, and we were online. And the best part of it was that we executed a lot of projects during the pandemic without actually traveling to them, or very minimalistic traveling. So our efficiency enhanced, because if I am traveling to a place, apart from the meeting which I am conducting, maybe a 2-hour, 3-hour, 5-hour meeting, I am wasting a lot of time traveling, going to the airport, taking flight, going to the hotel, staying back. So all that time gets utilized in a better way, because we are reaching out to different people in a short span. Then also you have technology for better business management, for better project tracking, for better finances. So technology plays an important role, and it's like those who don't adopt technology will actually become dinosaurs. So technology has to be adopted.
So, sir, we are done with the questions now. Thank you so much for a wonderful session. You discussed a lot about so many things: customer engagement, role of online marketing, image search capabilities, quick and easy pay checkouts process, subscriptions and auto fulfillment, impulsive buying. You actually describe, you discussed your own experiences. You actually help the participant and the people who are trying to have their career or future in the entrepreneurship. They actually got lot of ideas about their startup. So now I would like to invite once again Dr. Nitin Pathak, sir, head of the department commerce, to give a word of thanks to Hitesh.
Thank you, Dr. Nilini. So it was a wonderful session, Hitesh sir, and I thoroughly enjoyed each and every point you described, you discussed, and the questions were very beautifully asked by the questions, I tell you. So there is last question which I was just going through. It is based on the finance part. How did you manage your finance when you started with a zero? So I think, before I formally give you my vote of thanks, if you can answer this also, because this is something which is related to my heart also. I am also a kind of entrepreneur, so that is something which I want to listen from you. The answer of this particular question, if you can please answer.
Okay. So it will be my pleasure to answer this. So actually, I come from a humble background, a typical middle class family where my parents were working for a government organization. My dad is a retired bureaucrat. Now, when you come from that kind of a background, you don't have surplus funds or ample funds to get into the business. And my savings, I had a pretty decent saving from my international exposure, but your savings cannot drive your business. They are never sufficient to build up a business. So that's why my first venture, which actually I said I made mistakes and I had to move out, I eventually made a lot of loss in that venture. And then when coming back to the business again, it was again a challenge, because I am a first entrepreneur in my entire, entire family. So then what I did is that, as I said, I formed the distribution company, the Mangal Murthy Enterprises, which is a distribution firm. So trading is the easiest way of revenue generation, because you're buying goods from somewhere and selling it to somewhere. You might make less profits because in trading the profits are not humongous, but then you have a rotation of funds, and your inventory never becomes zero. You might buy a product for 100, you might sell it for 110, or you might sell it for 90, but it will not become zero. So that was the step which I took to ensure that my regular expenses are covered. And that division is still running, and it is almost on an autopilot mode. We are doing pretty good in that division as well. But then this is how I managed. I said, you have to have a revenue generation where you're not suffocated with funds. You have to fly light. Services is something where your investment is your time and your knowledge, and services happens not immediately. My first 1.5 years was just one single project. And then currently we do, we select 10% of the projects and we work on them. And that's also 25 projects a year. So persistence is required. As I said, you have to fail 99 times and you have to wait for that 100th time to be successful, and keep your targets and visions in a way that the funds. As I said, for planning, I would continue further. A lot of times when I refuse a business, I don't see a good financial plan behind the business. And that is the reason why I refuse to work for that business, because people only think on the capex part, that this is what is required to set up a factory, or this is what is required for office, but they don't ever look at the opex part. And you have to have a working capital for at least 3 to 6 months for business to roll over. And it's very important. So I would say the reason why I am successful is because I have a very strong plan behind it.
So thanks a lot. It is actually which is required by everyone, and those who start business or any entrepreneurial venture they're planning. So thank you very much, sir. Thanks, Dr. Neelni. On behalf of Chandigarh University Department of Commerce, we are thankful to you, Hitesh sir, and I'm sure that the participants, those who have heard you today, will definitely imbibe all these things in their life, and they will try to have their own startups and their own ventures in upcoming futures, because these are the basic insights which normally are not found in any syllabus. These are your experiences you have learned out of that, and how did you manage? That is actually wonderful, I tell you. So we are thankful to Chandigarh University, the organizing team of Tech Invent, Dr. Neelni, and all the students who have joined, my faculty members, everybody. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much, sir. And we would like to hear you again in the near future. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Nitin sir. Thank you, Hitesh sir.